All right, we are in the post show. We are going to run a chaos co-op. I'm going to use the facilities before we do. If any of our friends want to join in chat and talk, feel free. If you're listening, we are now in the post show. So if you're online and you want to jump into our post show chat, you may do that as well.
Did we never mention the 9 TCC challenge winners?
Yeah, I guess maybe we didn't. So I thought we had, but there's a couple people that had some.
I thought we did that last week, but maybe we didn't. Maybe we got it out too late last week that we never announced them. I honestly don't remember anymore.
I don't remember either. I'm sorry. There's just been so much going on in and out of my life, like online life and real life.
I've been busy offline recently.
So I do want to mention, since we're talking about 9, somebody mentioned that 9 has a Karen haircut. So I joked in the chat that when he speaks to a manager, he goes, ora, 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 he just does that, and he's spinning his stick, and around and around. And I don't know, it just kind of amuses me to think about, because it just seems like a very Karen response to me. So how do you guys feel? Do you think that 9 is a Karen? And if so, why? And yes, chat, you can also answer if you'd like.
Sorry, what was the question again? I blinked out for a moment.
No worries.
I'm tired. I haven't slept great the last couple nights.
Oh, yeah, it's all good, man. So what I was saying is, somebody in chat earlier said 9 has a very Karen haircut. So I made a joke about that in the chat. So do you feel that 9 is a Karen? And if so, how do you think he expresses it?
I'm not sure. I don't really know. I'm not up on the trope stuff.
What are we talking about? All right. Gameplay.
Also, we're going to do some of the questions that are still in the podcast questions chat for the post show. I figured the best way to address some of them is during the post show. So the last 3 questions that are still there we'll do as post show questions.
Perfect.
Yeah, I'm just trying to make conversation while we were just talking about the situation. I don't remember if we even announced those winners.
I don't didn't. Sorry, guys.
What didn't we do?
We apparently never announced the 9 TCC challenge winners.
I don't know what that's about. Must have missed it. I'll go back and look.
I thought we did.
I am requesting both of you to fight the Chaos Co-op.
Okay. After we start the fight, I will go through these questions. By the way, what I actually teach is pharmacology.
Yes.
So I am bringing Arden.
Yes. I am bringing Renoa. Kreese is bringing Arden. And Arrow is bringing Maria.
Wow, I need to rename myself. Apparently, you guys are saying your TCC podcast. I need to do that.
Wow.
I'm feeling
Thank you.
I started doing that because Mino and Mark were doing it, so I figured I should do it too.
Thank you for representing.
Thanks. I think I'm going to do that later, because I was trying to figure out a good way to advertise who I am better, but you guys obviously already had the answer. I should have just asked.
Yes. All right. Are we ready?
I am ready.
Okay. Let's try this. I'll try not to.
By the way, I finally broke my bubble, or I broke my chair. I popped my cherry, I guess, and I'm finally used some spheres on Arden.
Woohoo! How many turns we take? Too many.
Okay, so Katsufumi's had this question sitting in here for a while. He wants to know where each of the hosts are from originally and where do they reside now. You don't have to answer it if you don't like, but Mark, do you want to go first?
I am from Illinois, and I live in Illinois, Northern Illinois.
I'll go next. I currently live in New Orleans. I was born in New Orleans, but I was raised in the Northeast. I was raised in Connecticut. I actually went to college in Pennsylvania. Then I moved back to the New Orleans area for graduate school and ended up staying here afterwards.
Wow. I was born in California, but I have a military family. So honestly, I have no connection to California. I think I lived there for less than a year before we moved to Texas. So, and then I've moved to South Carolina, two or three different places there. Then two different places. Wait, no, it was North Carolina, then South Carolina, then Okinawa, Japan, then North Dakota, and now I've been here in Georgia. All over, I've moved around a number of times in this state too. So I guess I'm from Georgia at this point, but I don't know. It's hard to say a specific place I'm from because all the places I've been to definitely influenced who I became over time.
Did you want to take a turn, Arrow? In this, do you get to play? Do you get to play?
Arrow took a turn.
Yes, I did. I proper shot it so you guys would have battery and then use it, and then we wouldn't get hurt hopefully too bad by the Sephiroth attack.
I have no health anyways. I'm okay. I've lived in, if you count my time in college, I've lived in 4 different locations.
Chris, where in Connecticut? I went to college there.
Hey, Res
hi guys.
In Connecticut, that's where I grew up as a child. So I went to college in Pennsylvania.
Yeah, where in Connecticut did you grow up? If you don't mind my asking, you don't have to answer if you don't want to.
Fairfield County. It was Trumbull.
Oh no way! Yeah.
You know where it is?
Yeah, I went to Wesleyan in Connecticut in Middletown, good old Middletown. So
okay.
I know the area pretty well.
I went to Fairfield Prep for high school. If you know where that is.
Yeah, one of my best friends from high school went to Fairfield University, so I went to the area quite a bit.
Gotcha. Yep, that was right on Fairfield University campus. So yeah, you'd be familiar with that area.
Yeah. Hi guys.
Hey,
Rez.
Rez.
How you doing, Rez?
How you doing?
Oh man, I'm exhausted. I probably won't be on for too long. I was up pretty late last night for no good reason, just editing videos, and I'm headed up to Vermont this weekend and driving. So I'm gonna try to get an early night, but I'm from the Northeast. And
yeah,
born
Vermont.
and raised, and I live 15 minutes from where I grew up now. So, but no, I didn't grow up in Vermont. My family just has a house there, so it's been. You're
gonna see the colors, right? Is there
nice
fall colors in Vermont? Yeah.
There should be. So you guys know Jeff plays guitar. He's one of my best friends. So we do an annual trip up there with a couple of our friends. And so going up there with him and one of our other friends. And every year we miss the foliage because it gets earlier and earlier. So this year we were like, okay, we have to make sure to see the beautiful leaves this year. So I think we're going to be in time.
Very nice. Yeah, I know that's always, well, I mean, we get beautiful colors here too in the Midwest, but it is always a nice time of year. It's not really nice on my allergies, but it is what it is. So, yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, how was your birthday? Happy birthday again.
Yeah,
Thank you. Again. Thank you guys. Yeah, birthday was great. It was very low key. Just was with my family, and we got takeout. We got fresh pasta and homemade sauces, and I just ate a lot of food.
I saw the pic you posted on your Discord.
Yeah.
Looks like it was a fun time.
It was amazing. It was a lot of fun. Teddy also had a grand old time. He really enjoyed the various sauces and stuff.
Oh yeah,
he kept on sitting at the table. He kept on sitting at the table thinking he was a person.
Yeah, I saw one of the pictures.
He looks like he thinks he's an adult.
He 100% thinks he is a human and that he is an adult. Which, I mean, who's to say? who's to say?
I know dogs that think they are humans and
right?
they expect to be treated as such.
Yep, exactly. But yeah, birthday was good. Definitely can't complain. I just can't believe that we're already in October, and in the Northeast we got maybe 2 or 3 weeks of beautiful fall weather, and then we enter like a 7-month winter.
then it's horrible death and suffering
and like,
forever.
Why do I live here?
Then it's not great.
Sorry to cut in. I feel like it's finally the chance for me to say happy birthday as well to you, Rez.
Oh, thank you. I
didn't get to with the other dudes. I wanted to make sure I said something.
Thanks. I appreciate it.
Okay, next question. This one's been sitting here for a while too, and Mistleton was kind of sad we haven't covered it yet. So I didn't want to cover this on the main podcast because, But given the new loading screen, do the panelists believe that excessive spending by minors in gacha is a real problem? What strategies do the panelists use to prevent uncontrolled spending by minors? I
don't let my children have credit cards.
Yeah.
Because they're 9, 8, and 6. So it seems like a bad idea. But I have dealt with this, and we've talked about this on the show before. I am playing a game before I do this.
Password protect all of your accounts. Don't let your kids figure out the passwords.
You're going to break, right? So let me, Angelo.
Yeah.
Oh, no, I forgot. Angelo doesn't do AOE. So, I've had some parents have dealt with this, sending kids to college, mobile games, gambling, in that kind of sense. So, it's, you got to be, as a parent, you have to be considerate. But in terms of myself, I kind of have a budget. I know how much I can spend. I know kind of what's my entertainment budget, my video game budget, and I kind of stick with that. I don't, I plan my pulls. So I kind of know I have the right resources for the things that I want. And if I move away from something, fine. I've really not, I had some issues with some other games in terms of, spending money to then pull on a banner. But I've really not had that problem on Defo. The game's generous enough. I do spend money on the game to invest in the game, support the game. But in terms of, really feeling like, oh, I gotta use, I gotta spend money to get gems to pull. I've never really felt like that in this game because, first of all, to buy gems to pull is super expensive. Second of all, it's been generous enough that I've been able to get everything I wanted, pretty much. So, yeah.
I think an important aspect of it, and I don't have any kids, but one of the things my parents instilled in me from a young age was learning the value of money, I guess. And I don't know how to explain this, but I'm gonna burst here. Is that I don't know how to. I guess I don't know how great to explain this, but from a young age, they instilled in me this idea that saving money was important and spending money appropriately was important. So I never, even though I got a debit card at I think 16, I was always careful about what I spent my money on. I never spent it frivolously. So even when I went away for college and I didn't have my parents watching my bank account carefully anymore, as far as I knew, I never really found myself in a position where I was just spending money without thinking about it. I was always watching what I was spending money on.
Yeah, I grew up in a household where my family was very upfront about money and finances and communicated that well to us. And so I've always been fairly fiscally responsible. My wife grew up in a family where they didn't ever talk about money. They still don't.
My parents don't talk about their finances with me that much. They started talking about them a bit more as I've gotten older, but it's still a question mark in exactly where their finances are. We're well enough off that like it's not a question on if things are okay, but like we're not wealthy enough where like we can just spend whatever we want either. We're squarely in the middle class.
Should we start summoning or wait on summoning?
We can start summoning if you want. My burst is built up. I need to get one more break before it's maxed out, but we can go ahead if you want.
My parents were very much the kinds of parents that talk to us about money at an early age. Like it was kind of like a ritual. Like for each of our sixth birthdays, my dad would sit us down and teach us about stocks and assets and different things like that. And Pikachu Games in the chat was saying, best thing to do is give your teen a credit card, put a limit on it. That way they build credit. You see the purchases they make, can't go crazy. That's exactly what my parents did for me. And I was never, for me, it was always emergencies only. And I think that's what gave me like the semi-fiscal responsibility that I have. But my family has been and still is like very, very open about money. And yeah, sorry, I'm not very coherent, but I agree with the whole, building credit if you're able to. But if I obviously don't have kids, but I don't know what I would have done if gacha games were around when I was like a teenager.
Would not have been
I'm a little worried about what it would have been. I'd like to think that it would have been fine. That I would have been like normal, since not normal, that I wouldn't have gone crazy. But I don't.
It's one of those things that the hard limits on your spending on one of those credit cards would have probably saved you, because you would have slipped once and then you would have seen what happened and then you wouldn't have made the mistake again, probably.
Yeah, I wish I learned from my mistakes later on. I've had some pretty bad sessions with Fire Emblem Heroes where I've just gone off the deep end. I've never had that in DFFO, but yeah, it's definitely, it's in my personality to go off the deep end. But that's why DFFO is great, because even if you go off the deep end, if you save enough, then you're not actually like gambling money. You're gambling the resources that you saved, and you're going off the deep end with the resources that you saved. You're not going back in and like buying gems to get that, last pull.
Yeah, Retro Gamer Dad, there are ways to approach things that prevent kids from being expensive. You don't feed them. And you don't take them places or buy them things. That really helps. Believe me, kids are expensive. They're more expensive than not having kids. Not having kids is a great savings investment. Kids cost money. Yeah, that's for sure.
More gacha money.
You can spend a lot of money on kids in ways that aren't healthy, for sure. But yeah, so yeah, we didn't have gacha games growing up, but we did have blind booster packs of Magic the Gathering.
I spent a lot of money on that.
We did have
Pokemon cards.
We did have Hero Clicks and gaming books and
arcades.
Video games. Oh Lord. Well, arcade, yeah, I guess that's a good point. Yeah, because in our time it wasn't you got your play as much as you want Chuck E. Cheese card like they have today, right? It was it was a quarter to play a game, and you got a few
50 cents,
minutes,
or at
or
the end
$1,
of it, $1
right?
for some arcade systems.
So yeah, yeah. So there's always been things to get kids. I mean, they used to have commercials to get kids to smoke cigarettes too, right? So there's always been things. Toys. Growing up watching Saturday morning cartoons, the commercials. My kids don't watch a lot of commercials because we don't, they have Netflix and Disney Plus and Amazon Prime. So we don't have like cable TV, and I haven't had cable TV as an adult or satellite TV, any of that. So since I've been an adult, I've just had basically DVDs or Netflix, stuff like that. So
I forgot that like Pokemon cards and stuff and Magic cards, those were the original gachas. Like
100%.
I think it was
right?
baseball cards were the original, and then it became
baseball
Pokemon,
cards, basketball cards, But right, there's always been something to get kids to spend money on collecting things, right? We have this urge to collect things. Gacha is just the newest, phase of that, or blind boxes or whatever they are, loot boxes.
And just so you know, though there was a time where those baseball trading cards were put under scrutiny. I've read the history of those. They were put under scrutiny, and they tried to regulate them as gambling before. And what the argument was against that was that they had legal value as a tradable resource after purchase. That was what kept them from being considered as gambling.
And some of those baseball cards,
they had a resale value.
Some of those baseball cards are worth a lot of money. Hey, some of my Magic cards are still worth a lot of money. So,
shit, I can't kill because you need to heal. Okay.
Do we?
No, we didn't. Yeah. We were good on the HP requirement.
Yeah, we're good on HP.
We are good on the HP requirement.
Yeah, you go
we're good.
I wasn't 100% sure, so
because remember, my damage doesn't count for health loss. So
okay, I knew my damage didn't count. I wasn't sure about yours.
Yu-Gi-Oh!
Mine did, and I think because you did take that HP attack, that did count for some of it anyway. But you still had some HP loss, I think, Mark, from an Angel Wing attack. So whatever.
To give you
still made it.
For those who are talking about collectible card games, CCGs, to give you some idea of when I started playing Magic in Revised. So I am older than most of you for that very reason. But yeah, I mean, there's always been these ways. But so I was talking about my kids watching commercials. So we go to a hotel, and the hotel has cable TV, and the kids see commercials, and so everything that's on the commercials they want, right? Because they're not exposed to that. So you see that all kinds of different ways, and for good reason. When I was in high school, I had tons of disposable income. I worked and didn't pay any bills and didn't have any responsibilities, and I paid my car insurance maybe when I was old enough to do that, and you had money to spend on dating and friends and crap you didn't
I got
need.
a lot of disposable income from summer jobs as a high school student.
Yeah, I worked throughout.
And that carried me through college, too. That was my disposable income because I didn't spend any money as a high school student. I basically made that money and didn't spend any until I got to college.
Yeah, that's what I did in college, right? I worked all summer and then had that money to blow during the year.
That was basically my disposable income during college. So parents paid for me to go to college, and then I had the disposable income to do with what I wanted on the side.
Hey, good job, Arrow and Crease and me. We beat that fight really good. That wasn't too painful, was it? See, when you get three semi-competent people together talking about gotcha gambling, the fight's not that terrible.
Now, but, do you guys want to do another one or nah?
With worse characters? Yeah, we.
I mean, the same ones. I mean, we're still doing post-show discussion. I mean, we can do the Cosmos one. If you want to be more casual, it doesn't matter to me.
Crease, what do you think?
Give me a sec to clear out some artifacts, and we can do another one.
We'll do the chaos again.
I'm almost capped.
But since I don't think I got to respond yet much about the finance thing.
Please.
So, my parents being military, you make okay money. My dad was, he was pretty decently ranked soldier person in the military. We were Marines, so we made okay money, but nothing spectacular. I would say we would probably be considered maybe lowerish on the lower end of the middle class, but definitely not bad off. And my dad and my mom definitely taught me, about money. A little bit here and there, and I had chores and I made money and everything, and I got to spend it however I wanted, and I was pretty good about it. I remember getting a babysitting certification about when I was 12. I went to the Red Cross and actually did the whole little course and everything. And I remember having in my savings account enough money where my parents were like, well, my dad and my stepmom at this point were like, you should be investing some of that. And I was like, okay. So I invested some of it, and it didn't wind up working out as well as we would hope. But, it was a good way to learn about the world, I guess. And then I had high school. I started living with my mom, and I don't know, man, she just wouldn't really, I didn't really spend money in high school. She wouldn't even really buy me much of anything. And nor did she pay me an allowance. So it was just like, I don't know. I'm pretty good with money, though. I feel like I'm very careful with how I think what my needs are. I do spend money on video games, but I'm very strict about it because, especially with gacha games, the whole thing is they want you to spend money you may not have. And I think there is going to have to come a point where there will need to be probably more, I guess, rules about how all this stuff is allowed to roll. Because as it is, I just feel it can be very predatory. And I have a lot of things against like predatory types, money things and usury and all that. But that's like a whole nother topic. So I'm going to leave it there.
I agree.
Yes.
I have opinions about gacha as a whole, which I leave off the show for the most part because I consider them implicit in nature and not worth discussing. But that's the reason I always say I'm not a shill.
Yeah, I think we've had Macnell on here who has very strong opinions about this. And by nature they are, right? They play on things, as all those things, as Saturday morning cartoons do, as Camel cigarettes used to do, as vaping does today, as gacha gambling and what do they call it? The default shaming on Fortnite, where kids are shaming other kids because they have default skin. All that plays into some psychological realities as we as humans aren't real good at managing well. So, but I can honestly say not been the best manager of money here in the last few months during the pandemic, but part of that is because we actually are in a place where we have more income than we did before the pandemic, which is obviously a much different situation than the majority of Americans. So trying to get back on a little track, but at the same time not worrying about it too much because we moved and everything else. But yeah. We are generally fairly frugal, and I am generally really, really good with our money. And we also give a lot of our income away. So that is, if you want to know about our charitable giving, my wife and I give 10% of our gross income to our church, and we give 1% of our gross income per year of marriage to other charitable groups. Different kinds of groups all over the place. So our hope as a family is to live on less and less and give more and more away. I think that's something that's important for us. As we feel like we're living a good life and we want to help those who might need help, regardless of the situation. So that's something that's important to our family. Not saying that's something you need to do, but
that's
many of you are.
That's such a nice tradition, Mark.
Yeah, it's getting rough. We've been married 10 years. Although I technically still give less charity than I do pay taxes. So, because do I donate pre-tax income? Yeah. I donate pre-tax. Yeah, my gross income. So, let's say I make $50,000 a year. I would give based on that before all my deductions and everything. I have, if you're talking about, I have a clergy friend who said, should you tithe? That's a Jewish and Christian tradition of giving 10% to the church, based on some biblical things, but that the idea behind it is more generosity and gratitude, and it's good, right? To do that, and it psychologically, there's been studies on it. It's actually very healthy to give to other people in different ways. I mean, there's different things you can support. American Cancer Association, the American Heart Association. I mean, things like that. I had a clergy friend who said, do you want gross blessings or net blessings? That's how you should give. He was joking, of course, but yeah, no, I've always just to be kind of just upfront. We've always used our gross income before tax. So yeah. Now, years from now, if I'm, I'll have to decide: do I pay? Do I give based on my Social Security and pension, which I've already given on? I'll deal with that issue when it comes. But yeah,
I grew up around nonprofits. My dad's a dentist, and he founded one in the 90s where he would go around the world and do like cleft lip palate surgeries. And once we were old enough, my siblings and I would go with him and be his dental assistant. So when I was like 10 or something, started going with him to like Ecuador and Guatemala and different places like that. And then when I was in high school, I started a nonprofit that's grown a lot. We work in refugee camps in the Middle East. And awesome. So that's still, I haven't been able to spend as much time on it in the last few years since I got a job myself, but definitely always been around it. And it's something that I feel like, comes from family, and it's a good thing to pass on.
Definitely.
Yeah. Sniper is saying in Islam as well, it's one of the pillars of faith, and most faith traditions, and most people who aren't of any particular faith tradition, giving and charitable work is something that a lot of humans are drawn to. I think for good reason. Again, I mean, there's my background is in psychology before the church stuff, and there's been some psychological research on charitable giving, on giving, generosity. It makes you happier, makes you healthier. I mean, there's been some good research behind that. So regardless of how you feel about it. So, yeah. But I think we were talking about finances. I mean, I think it's part of a healthy understanding of finances too, that I can give some away. And that helps me and it helps me, I like percentage, because then it helps me think of all my money in kind of a percentage. This is how much I'm, saving. This is how much I'm spending, and kind of gives me a sense of budget. And you can imagine knowing kind of how I spreadsheet things. I do budget fairly particularly. It drives my wife crazy because she's not from that. She's not used to that, but I do. I know everything that we spend, and I plan for everything that we spend during the year. Everything that we go, it's all planned, and I know what we spend. I'm not surprised, and if things happen, and we have reserves if something does happen, and never as much as I would like, because I'm one of those people.
Just like planning in DFFO. It's just like the planner.
Yeah, it's very good. Very good. Yes, I am the obsessive compulsive planner person who loves order, who has to have all the ducks in the row. I have one of the most chaotic lives and chaotic jobs and chaotic families you could possibly ever have. So I've managed pretty well. I would be a wonderful person to have like a 9-to-5 job, regular hours, normative kids, structured life. But yeah, no, my family is all over the place, and our schedules are all over the place, and my job is crazy with crazy hours, and I love it. I love all of it. So yeah, it's a nice blend, and I love the fact that my wife is very very free-spirited and very, kind of lets the wind blow one way or the other, and we make a good pair because of that. So I certainly can. My youngest son, my 6-year-old, is almost exactly like me, and we clash every single day. I love him to death, and we're very, very close. But me and my dad are the same way. We clash all the time, and I love him and talk to him all the time. But yeah, we're too much alike to be together. So I certainly would have never wanted to marry someone who was my other counterpart who was exactly like me. And I didn't marry anyone who was like me whatsoever. And I'm very lucky to have married who I did. She doesn't play Defo. If you're
Could you
wondering.
imagine two people in the same household?
If you're wondering, she does now. My wife is. I'm just trying to think what I'm doing here. I don't need to brave for this attack, right? Or I should.
No.
Okay.
No, this is going to be an HP dump.
So my wife is older than I am. So some of you know how old I am. My wife is 6.5 years older than I am, which is good because I grew up with an older brother, 11 years older than me, with no other siblings. And so I've always hung out with older Gen Xers. I'm a young Gen Xer or a Xennial, the Star Wars generation, I like to say, the people born during the original release of Star Wars. But so I've always hung out with Gen Xers. My wife is a just staunch Gen Xer. She just fits right into that demographic really well.
Are you technically a millennial, Mark?
I'm right at the edge. So
okay.
Yeah, I'm right at the edge. The Xennial, that's what 77 to 83 Xennials. So I really consider myself have more affinity with Gen X, but
I'm squarely in the millennial crowd.
But so I mean, she grew up playing Nintendo. I mean, she loves Super Mario Brothers. We have a Wii and Super Mario Wii. And I mean, she likes board games and party games and stuff like that. But yeah, I mean, she didn't play like. She didn't read comics. Like, she had never seen Star Wars when we started dating. Like, these are, she didn't see a lot of movies. So, the CCGs and role playing, that's not in her wheelhouse whatsoever. But she does like certain video games.
I'm sorry, Crease. I should not have done that. I should have let you have that.
I'll be bursting soon. Probably on my next action, I'm going to activate my burst.
Cool beans.
Guys, I gotta head out. I'm falling asleep. So
get some sleep, Rez. Thanks for stopping by.
Thanks for hopping in.
So, no, it was fun.
Take care of yourself now. We'll see you hopefully soon.
Yeah, gonna get more than 8 hours of sleep for the first time in weeks. Hopefully.
Woo-hoo.
Hopefully, fingers crossed. But it was great to see you all. Thanks for having me on, and I hope you all have a wonderful rest of your night.
Hey, you too, Rez. Check out Rez Foyna on Twitch and YouTube,
guys.
Please.
Thank you. Take care.
Thanks, Rez. And we'll probably call it a night after this as get the shows out. But
I got an early start tomorrow. Got a lecture first thing, and then I get to go deal with the DMV.
So we got one more question. I'm actually DMV. That sounds fun. One more question. A Pocket Joker asked, post-show question, what is the most overrated piece of media, be it TV, movies, literature, video games, etc., and why is it Breaking Bad? So
I've never seen Breaking Bad, so I have no opinion.
I'm with Crease. I don't watch a lot of actual TV shows. So I guess the best media to me, I play a lot of video games and I read a lot of books, but I don't really watch a lot of TV, and I do rent movies. So I don't know. I guess we'll go with the order being books, video games, and then movies, and then TV.
I started watching Breaking Bad. I don't watch a lot of TV either anymore, but like there's some things like Mandalorian you damn well better believe I've watched The Mandalorian. I will watch season 2. So there's some things like that I will watch. And casually, I mean, we watch, the kids watch stuff, obviously, but, we watch baking shows, and I like things like that, reality shows like that. My wife likes crime drama, so she's probably upstairs watching something like that right now. But yeah, so I started watching Breaking Bad, but I didn't really get into it. So yeah, I mean, I didn't hate it, but yeah, it didn't keep me interested long enough to really dig into it. So I don't really have an opinion on it one way or the other. But yeah, the actual question is what is the most overrated type of media? I think it's sculpture. I think sculpture is very overrated.
The way the question's structured, it sounds like it can be any. What piece of media, regardless of medium?
Never been a fan of pottery. Pottery is really.
That's the reason it can be Breaking Bad. So it could be a movie, it could be a video game, or anything along that line.
It's funny because I love. Final ASIM, you're dead to me. So dead to me. If you're talking generally, I mean, I love TV, I love music, I love movies, I love books, I love video games, I love art. The only type of the art form that I have the most difficulty with, I appreciate it, but I don't enjoy it as much as I love pretty much any other type of art, is dance. I enjoy it. I understand the technical part of it. I understand the beauty of it. I will go. I've seen dance competitions. I grew up in a big town, big dance town. But it just doesn't move me the same way that visual art or a movie or a good TV show or a good book or even video games or music. I love music. I'm a big music person. And went to college on a music scholarship. So, I have seen that. I was joking, Pikachu. I love sculptures, and I have seen David in person, and it is amazing. If you've never seen Michelangelo's David, it is a work of art. I mean, to think the man sculpted that man out of rock. I mean, it's ridiculous. It's so. I mean, it looks like something that the most high tech laser printer would have done. Resfoina, what am I doing here? Do another. You got some stuff. Oh, I can summon here. I'm not paying attention to what I'm doing. I play clarinet. I went to college on a clarinet scholarship and toured Europe in an orchestra with clarinet, and that's about it. I do sing as well. Actually, I do sing now more than I have been. I've been singing in church, but in band camp, I'm not. Yeah, I guess we did some band camp. Not like that band camp. Short band camps. I never did a full summer band camp, but I started playing when I was 8, and the only reason I played I don't remember going to I felt like there wasn't a lot of people when I saw David. It was very I was touring Europe with my orchestra, actually. So it was very, very powerful experience, actually. That beautiful museum there in Italy. But yeah, no, I started playing when I was 8, and the only reason I played clarinet because my embouchure, I was fairly small at the time. My embouchure was not strong enough to play saxophone, which is what I wanted to play. So I played clarinet, and I never stopped playing clarinet and paid for college. So God bless the clarinet. The black stick of death, we like to call it.
Anyways, my answer is Call of Duty.
Call of Duty!
I had to think about that one for a while. The reality is I do not interact with any media that I would likely think is overrated. I'm pretty picky with what I will stick with, and Call of Duty is the one thing that jumps into my periphery enough that I will consider it overrated. I actually think Among Us is pretty cool.
I have not played Among Us, but it seems like something I might enjoy.
I mean, it's basically it's one of those social interaction games. It's a lot like Werewolf or Secret Hitler, that sort of thing.
Seems like a good, like party kind of game, yeah.
I played it a couple times now. It's fun. Arrow, do you have an answer?
I don't know. Fortnite, I guess, is like the cool thing nowadays. I feel that's overhyped. Let's see other games that I felt were overhyped.
Fortnite's overrated too, in my opinion.
Yeah, that's a pretty obvious one, but I felt like it needed to be said because I do work with kids who play it. Well, I did. I don't work right now with that job because of COVID, but I do think that game is overrated. When the kids talk about it, they want money for it so they can buy outfits, but like I don't even know if they know what they're doing in the game and things like that. So I'm gonna go with that probably being one of the most overrated things because I try to talk to the kids about it at work and I still don't even understand what it is. I think it's supposed to be kind of like Overwatch a little bit.
It's a battle royale game.
Yeah, or like Team Fortress or something. And it's like, wow. We had Team Fortress, and I'm thinking that was probably a lot cheaper to play, at least before the whole hats thing came out in that. So I find a lot of that stuff to be kind of weirdly overrated. Anyway,
we had
I
Doom.
understand the concept of Fortnite. I've played like 1, maybe 2 matches. I've seen gameplay. I understand how it works. I'm not interested in it.
Yeah, we had Doom in the computer lab. You had to be by the other computer. We played Unreal Tournament in college a little bit, in between classes. But my first-person shooter days are over, that's for sure. No interest in that. All right, hey, well, thank you. Thank you, Chris, Arrow. This has been the post show. Appreciate you all hanging out, sticking around. We'll get these podcasts and post show up. Usually I have the post show available around 5 p.m. the next day. And I'll get the regular show up here if you missed it ASAP. So as soon as it loads. So thank you all. Appreciate it. Join our Discord, Twitter, Facebook. Connect with us, tccpodcast.com. Thank you, Resfoina. Check out Resfoina, Twitch, YouTube, all her content. Watch her whole... I watched that whole video, Res, for the LD and, at least got something out of it. But until next time, everybody have a good night.